What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful night tonight. Beautiful night. The sun has gone down, but it's still 12% daylight. So, being a kid back in the old days, they had a lot of advertisement in the Saturday morning cartoon times, obviously geared towards kids, and a lot of toys back then. And one of the popular ones, not the most popular, but it was popular, was this Rock'em Sock'em robots. Page 1, page 2. So Mattel made this, and you would watch these commercials, and they were awesome. You thought that this was a game that you can really get into. And I suppose if I bought it back then when I was a kid, because I had nothing to compare it to, this would have been awesome. I get it now, and you get two people in here, and it's a little bit boring. A little bit boring. It lacks. What does it lack? It lacks something. It lacks technological sophistication, right? I'm used to playing things now that are 100 times more advanced than this. So, you punch them, and then eventually, I'm getting shots, and then the head goes up. So, I remember watching these commercials back in the old days, and I go, I got to get one of these. Well, I finally got one today, but today doesn't fascinate me the way it would have fascinated me back in my younger days. Plus the commercials made them look even better. It was like very exciting. I used to watch a lot of boxing. I still watch, but back then I was really into it. And so this was right up my alley. But, it's like, maybe I have to adjust them. It's a chin shot. He's tough. So anyway, I played this with my daughter, and after 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, 30 seconds, I was thinking this is good for an art piece, hanging up on top of your bureau. So yeah, Mattel was a big game maker back then. I don't know whatever happened to these companies. I wonder why they didn't keep up with the changing times. Like Mattel right now should be like Apple. They should have Mattel games, virtual reality games made by Mattel. And Mattel is still stuck making these things. Like I said, it looks fun when you're a kid. Just like the $6 Million Man. Right? $6 Million Man was awesome when I was a little kid. But now when I watch the episodes, I think to myself, these shows, or this show specifically, was not made for adults. Corny plots, the acting, Richard Anderson's acting was great. Lee Majors was alright. He's a good actor elsewhere. $6 Million Man, like I said, made for children, and he acknowledges that. I remember when the new Bionic show was on, like 2008, 9, those years. He came out and said, you know what, he goes, when I did my show, it was made for children. This is more for adults. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see a $6 Million Man show made for somebody my age. Something serious, but realistic too. Something where you look at it and you go, well, maybe a couple of guys at MIT could make these limbs, make the eye. And realistic plots. I don't want to see him going into alternate universes and things like that. I want to see a guy who is paralyzed somehow through an accident. Maybe he crashed his plane, and then he loses his limbs, and they manufacture artificial limbs, artificial eye, and they put him in situations like James Bond type stuff. But I want it to be written from the point of view of an adult, because I can't watch. I will say though that the opening for the $6 Million Man, I still watch over and over again. The way that they handle the arm, get the hand here, they're holding it, arm looks nothing like what his looks like. They actually auctioned that arm off recently. But then the eye, I've made comments about the eye. When you see the eye in the opening credits, the doctor's nail is a little bit dirty. Plus he's handling it without gloves on. You know, I know if you wash your hands with antibacterial soap, but his fingernail, if you notice, there's a little bit of dirt under there, like he worked on his car just before he went in to fix the eye on Lee Majors, $6 million man, Steve Austin. So anyway, this is the Bruising Blue Bomber versus the Rugged Red Rocker. Not something that, what is it, ages two and older, I don't know. Oh, 6 and up. 6 and up, right around my age. So when I was 6 and I would watch these commercials, this thing looked awesome. But, you know, and it's not a good shot. It's like, kind of like the way Rocky in Rocky 1 hits the heavy bag. I don't know if there's a different way of holding this. Yeah, they made all these fun games, but Mattel did not keep up. And Hasbro was another one. Parker Brothers. Parker Brothers made game boards like Monopoly. Used to like playing that. I didn't know back then what the concept was. I just liked playing a cashier, counting the money. And then Clue. I had a cousin who would give hints that she wanted the board game Clue for Christmas. Eventually the family picked up on it and they got her that game. And then every time I'd go over there, she'd say, "You want to play Clue?" And I'd say, "Sure." You know, interesting game. But back then, because we didn't have other things to compare to, all those games, including this, seemed awesome. Now, it's very difficult to sit down and play Trouble, or let's say Shoots and Ladders, or Candyland, Monopoly Life. Very difficult for me to sit down and play a board game now. I want the action, you know, to be realistic. But, you know, back then, that's all we had. And then the other thing, checkers. Checkers, chess. Checkers was easy because, you know, it was easy to teach somebody within 30 seconds how to do it. Chess, more interesting. But even that, I don't know how many kids now play chess. Not many. Connect 4. So I was watching Mike Tyson. I guess the fight's coming up in November. Kind of like an exhibition. But, oh, there we go. There we go. Did you see that action? The head came up. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that a 58, 59-year-old fighting a 27-year-old, not a good idea. You know, a 27-year-old, no matter how inexperienced he is, still has snap in his punches. And an almost 60-year-old, the snap is pretty much gone. You know, you have more of a pushing punch. And you need a snap. If you're going to knock somebody out, you need that snap. And I don't know what's going to happen. And not only that, I would say a 27-year-old endurance is much better than a 60-year-old's endurance, stamina. So we'll see. We'll see. And I think you can take a better shot at 27 than you can at 60. I will say, though, this is no ordinary 60-year-old. This is Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is probably one of the top 3, maybe he's the top, but maybe one of the top 3 heavyweight champions ever. I mean, I am a huge fan of Mike Tyson's. I love that style of fighting, that swarming style, where punches are coming from all different directions. He wasn't a big guy, but he was at the right level, the right height, 5'11", where he could get good leverage in there. Body shots, chin shots, you know, where a tall guy doesn't have that. You know, I mean, a tall guy has reach, but he's not good at the body. He's not good at giving body shots. So, you know, it's almost like when you're too tall, free throws in the NBA, you're not good at. Same thing with boxing. If you're too tall, uppercuts, things like that, body shots, you're not good at them. So Mike Tyson, to me, was an amazing fighter. He had personal issues. Otherwise, he would have been champion for a lot longer. And that Buster Douglas guy would have been knocked out in the 3rd round. Which I agree with Mike. I mean, I have to look at the footage again, but when he knocked down Buster Douglas, and I will give the rebuttal to this, Buster Douglas was down longer than 10 seconds. You could see the stopwatch on the side there and count along, and the referee's counting slow. He doesn't start right away anyway. So if he had counted the way he should have, Douglas would have been counted out. But the rebuttal is that Douglas, listening to the count, took his time, right? He took his time to get up. Now, had the referee been at 8 or 9, where he should have been originally, he would have gotten up. He had no issue. To me, it didn't look like he was that hurt. He would have gotten up, and the reason he didn't get up is because he had more time, according to the referee's count. So Tyson goes around and says, you know, pretty much I won that fight, but, you know, the referee counted slow. That is true. That is true. But it's also true that I think, so I don't know how true and think go together, but it's obvious to me that Buster Douglas could have gotten up a lot quicker than he did. But the only reason he delayed is because the referee was counting slow. It would make no sense to get up sooner. You want to get all the rest you can and then get up. So if the referee was counting at the right pace, Buster Douglas would have gotten up. And then you have that other fight with Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was like 38 years old at the time. Great fighter, great jab. Lasted 4 rounds with Mike Tyson. And then there's a punch where he's in the corner, close to the corner, and Tyson is like really hitting him hard. And Holmes tries to hit him. I think it's a right uppercut, and it gets caught on the ropes. If you see that, you'll know what I'm talking about. It gets caught in the ropes. Who knows if that would have landed and if it would have done any damage? I suspect no. I don't think back then anybody could have beaten Tyson. Right? I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was in this area where there was a lot of people who had boxing experience, and they were talking about Tyson, and they were saying the only one that can beat Tyson is Michael Spinks. And I'm like, who came up with that? Why do you think Michael Spinks? Oh, that he's awkward, he throws punches from weird positions. Well, we know what happened with Michael Spinks. He got knocked out, what, in 91 seconds? Why? Because he was scared, and fear made him hesitant, you know. And you know, when you have fear, you can't fight right. So Mike Tyson was very intimidating just by the look. You know, he had a look in his eye. That's the eye of the tiger that Apollo Creed was trying to get Rocky to get back. Although in the movie Rocky 3, when he says you had the eye of the tiger, you won, I don't remember Rocky having the eye of the tiger in Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. Kind of looked like a kind guy, gentle man. So if anybody had the eye of the tiger, Apollo had it, and he lost. So, but they had to work something in, some kind of theme, to make it look like we got to get the eye of the tiger back. That's why when they go in that gym here in LA, where Apollo used to train, all those guys look angry. Why do they look angry? Because originally they were promised the role of Mr. T and they didn't get it, and that's why they look angry. So they wanted to capture that realistic angry look by denying them the role of Clubber Lang. They just told them that, and then they said, okay, shoot the scene now, and they were all pissed off. So, but yeah, he didn't have the eye of the tiger. But the eye of the tiger is nothing more than the eye, the look of intimidation, which is 80% of the fight. If you can get into your opponent's head and scare them, you got him. You got him. I think in Rocky 3, Clubber Lang says he's scared. You see that look in his eye? He's scared. And he was right, and Clubber Lang won. You can't fight when you're afraid, right? If you're afraid of your opponent, or you give them too much respect, they're going to take you out. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna go in and have dinner, and I'll be back again. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. You never know. If something pops into my head, I could be back within a couple of hours. Yeah, this you need more options. And somebody who created this made probably millions and millions of dollars with this simple, thing. A couple of pieces here, the ring, no big deal to make. I can make one of these. I could go to Michael's, what's that place called? Michael's Craft Shop. I could buy a few pieces of wood, a couple of toothpicks here, some string. I can make this. And then this, not really a big deal either. But somebody came up with this and made a ton of money off of it, just like Evel Knievel, that little, motorcycle with the spinning thing, gave it power. Evel Knievel made more money off of that toy than all his jumps combined. And I think Mattel made that too. Mattel was huge back in those days. Mattel was involved in all the good games. But like I said, Parker Brothers, I gotta look them up, because that's a cool name, Parker. What do I think of when I hear Parker? Parker Stevenson, Hardy Boys. So, that's it. That's it. Look at that. That's it for now. Ciao. That's it.